Get started, and I'm going to make this smaller. Hold on, I'm trying to get my view so I can see everybody. Make it bigger, gallery view. Okay, hold on. So Miss Wolak, how do I make this go away on the side here?
What are you trying to do?
Well, the side, I have all the names of everybody.
Just hit that little down arrow to the left. Yeah, hit that and close. There you go.
Oh, awesome. There's always something new to learn, right? Well, it's great to see you guys. I would like to, well, you know me. I am Mrs. Ward, the teacher in the science lab, and one of the coordinators for the STEM fair. And
I am Mrs. Wolak, Beth Wolak, and I am Mrs. Ward's assistant.
So, and we're so excited that STEM fair is happening this year. Digital is a different way, but we were so fortunate because we went digital last year. And because we went digital last year, we already had the template set up and all of that. So it wasn't that much work to be able to get us on board to be fully digital. So what I'd like to ask you to do, if you are a student or if you are a parent here for your child, if you could type in your child's or children's names, their teacher, and then an email address. So if you need to communicate with us, we'll have that. Now, if you're driving or can't right now, I totally understand it, that's fine. But if you can enter that in chat, your name, your teacher's name, and your email address, all right?
And any questions as you go on, let them know I'm muted, but any questions as they go on.
And any questions that you have this evening, I'll take breaks every once in a while to ask for questions, but you can always put them in chat because Ms. Wolak is monitoring the chat box. Okay, we're double timing this. Teamwork. Thank you. I'm getting to see everybody that's on. Celeste, awesome. Dominic. Greta. Awesome. Just gonna let people finish typing before I start sharing my screen. And Tanner and Isla, awesome. Adrita, Christian, awesome. Thanks guys for taking care of that. I appreciate it. It'll make it a lot easier for us to have like a list of people that we know we've started to communicate with. It's not, you're not committing yourself to doing it. I just want to be able to know who we're chatting with. All right, looks like everybody has that done. So what I'm going to do is I am going to.
I don't have it done yet.
Okay, go ahead, keep going. I won't go on yet. That's fine. What else was I going to do? I think I've told you. Oh, I will. We do probably have a few other. I have Mr. Jaffe joining us this evening. He is the science lab teacher at Fruitville Elementary School. And the science lab teachers in the county, we really coordinate and do a lot of things together. And so Mr. Jaffe will probably recognize the PowerPoint that I'm using tonight because it was one that he gave me years ago. And then I just keep tweaking it. So Mr. Jaffe, you're more than welcome to have your PowerPoint back if you would like. All right. So are we good now? Everyone's in, I think. Perfect. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. I put everything in Blackboard. So give me a thumbs up if you know how to find Blackboard. Okay, that should be everybody knows how to find Blackboard, right? Okay, and if you don't, I can help you find it. But if you're at home, you definitely know where Blackboard is because you've been using it. So you go to all Ashton specials, and then you will click on, go to the side and find STEM Fair. So I'm going to go ahead and take you guys there right now. So I'm going to share my screen, and it's going to be, oops, I had it open. How come it's not open now? All right, so give me a moment, please. Why is it not opened?
If you just click.
Yeah, but this is my Zoom meeting settings.
Yeah, you just click share over here. It'll go to your, and then you can find it. So just click share there and it'll go to you. No?
Oh,
You're just
that's
gonna have
weird.
to pull it up.
That's weird.
It
That's
must have-
okay.
Oh, go to your Google Chrome on the bottom.
Oh, it has me on Teams though. Isn't that weird? Here we go.
There we go.
Okay, found it. Sorry about that, guys. I'm still learning all of this technology. So, all right. So you guys all know what Blackboard looks like. And here we have all of the specials are listed. And if we scroll to the bottom, and let me kind of move you guys over so I can see the side over here. So I've got a tab that says STEM Fair. Now there is a tab that says hidden documents.
They can't see that.
But, oh, you can't, you don't even see that it's there. Well, anyway, there's a tab.
They can on yours, but they won't see it. on
You
yours.
won't see it on yours. And what's in there are the documents on how to upload your PowerPoint and your STEM Fair journal to Teams, but that is not until December. So I didn't want to have you guys see it yet because I don't want you to get nervous like, oh my gosh, what is that? You don't even need to worry about that right now. Okay, so if you click on STEM Fair, you'll see I've got all this information in here. I've got the PowerPoint for tonight, the safety assessment form. I have an example to show you. Then there's the template and directions how to download the template. And then the journal is now digital. It's a PDF and it's all fillable. I have create a graph link there. And I also have 3 more student examples. And thanks to Jonathan's request and reminding me, I will be adding to this list tonight the websites. Okay, and thanks again, Jonathan, for asking that awesome question. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the PowerPoint first. And then if you have questions during the PowerPoint, if you would please go ahead and put them in chat for Ms. Wolak. And did it go to, oh, you are. Okay. Are you guys seeing like half a screen or are you seeing just the slide?
We're only seeing the PowerPoint.
Awesome. So you don't see all the, oh, that's great. I'm so excited.
But they do see the side stuff. I mean, I'm seeing the side.
Okay.
So.
I do too.
You do?
Yeah, we see the
Try to
outside.
make it so that way that's not there. I want that go away. Well, I think we're just going to deal with it for now. Are you guys okay with that? Sometimes my computer likes to cooperate and other times it doesn't. Let's start from current slide. No. All right, never mind. I'm not going to waste time. We're just going to keep moving on. All right, so your science helpers. I'm Mrs. Ward and that's Miss Wolak. And so if you need to communicate with us, you know our email address and you can always, I mean, Mary Ward is easy. Miss Wolak, you might have to figure out how to spell her last name, but you can always find us. So first thing to do to get started, which I kind of was talking already to, I think it was Isabel's mom, about finding a topic that your child is interested. If your child picks a topic that they really don't want to do, but are picking it because you want them to pick it, you're gonna have a hard time getting your child to finish their project. But if you have them pick something that they're excited about, that's going to be awesome because it's going to carry them all the way through the whole process. And I've told the students I've already seen, part of the process is kind of arduous because you have to do your research and you have to come up with your procedure and list your materials. There's a lot of work ahead of time before you actually do the experiment, but you can't really experiment unless you have all that knowledge ahead of time. There's a safety assessment form, and I'll show that to you guys in just a minute, and that has to be turned in to me prior to starting. You can email that to me and then I will check it. If there's any, I'll respond, yes, you're good to go, or I'll respond and say, no, that one won't work. Let's try and change it. We need to make sure that what you're doing doesn't involve any mold and there are no biohazardous materials. Okay. So we were, obviously, you know, we're going digital. So you're going to set up your PowerPoint. You will find the template and the directions to download on Blackboard under Ashton, all Ashton specials in the STEM Fair tab, which is literally where I just showed you, and that's where we are working from right now. So research, you need to have 3 different sources. I'm gonna figure this thing out. 3 different sources for your research. And they'll read that information and then they write up a summary. So let's say you were studying candy corn, which you're going to see mine in a minute. So part of it was research on candy corn. What is candy corn? And then I learned about different things that were in candy corn, and then I researched those things. So your research needs to relate to what your topic is. Okay. And I'll show you how to put all that in the journal too. Then you take, after you get that research, you come up with a hypothesis. If I do this, then this will happen. So the example here is if earthworms are given a choice between a wet environment and a dry environment, then they will choose a wet environment. And that hypothesis would have been made based on the research that you had done. So now let's talk about variables. This is the part that's always confusing for some, but I think this is pretty clear for you. And I think it's pretty clear in the journal as well. So you need to think about the experiment and determine your variables. The independent variable, what are you changing? The dependent variable is how you're going to measure it. And the constant variables are those things that stay the same. A control, does your experiment have a control? Well, are you testing something against an already known result like water versus soda water for plants? You know that plants grow well with water. So that would be a control because you'd have water would be your control and then you would test the other liquid against it. All right. And I'll show you examples of those as we go through the samples in a minute. So you list your materials, you try to be very, very specific. Now, if you are doing an engineering project, which I can give you information about, I have some at the end, then you would be listing all the materials you need to build your prototype. Procedure, you write out your procedure. It needs to be numbered and you have to use metrics. You can't use standard English measure. Everything in science is done in metrics. And you will run your experiment 3 times for each variable. So if you're doing plants with water and plants with soda water, then you'd have 3 plants with water and 3 plants with soda water. Then after you've done that, you start doing your experiment, but make sure that safety assessment form has been turned into me and I've given you the good to go thumbs up. Okay, all right. Now, you guys are lucky because in years past, I guess I was an overachiever and I made my students test each variable. They had it not just 3 times, but I made them do it 9 times. But we got lots of really valid data. You are more than welcome to do it 9 times, but you only have to test each variable 3 times. You'll record your information on your PowerPoint and in your journal, and you'll find that you could type it in one place and then just copy and paste and put it into the other. So you don't have to type it twice. And then you'll want to set up your table to record your data, and I have that in your PowerPoint as well. I mean, in your template as well. So to collect your data, you will create some type of a table, or you can use the one that I provided with you, and you can modify it. If you're just running one test, you're testing, let's say this is, a plant is being given tap water, Sprite, and boiled water. And so if you're just running it 3 times, I mean, 3 plants with tap, 3 with Sprite, and 3 with boiled water, then you're just going to have one table. But if you do it 9 times, then you're going to have more tables. All right. You'll have one for trial 1, one for trial 2, one for trial 3, and one for overalls. So if you're an overachiever and you want to do that, just let me know and I can help you. Okay. Then you take the information and you make a graph out of it. So that way you can see your numbers. It's visible. It's a great visual to see actually what happened. So you'll look in the STEM Fair tab. There is a link to a Create a Graph website, which is a really easy website to use, and I will show you that tonight. Although Ms. DeWitt always says that Excel is better, but I think that this is easier. So it's whatever works better for you, okay? Then you come up with your conclusion. You look at your data. Hey, was my hypothesis right? How did it work? Did my procedure go well? What does my data say? And then you think about, well, what does this mean for like the future? So your PowerPoint needs to be completed along with your STEM Fair journal. And you'll take, this is at the last step, you're just going to go in and make sure that everything is okay. You're allowed to put pictures in of yourself, that is fine. And if you want to add some images that are relevant to your topic, you're more than welcome to, like I have put images in here. If you do an engineering project, you will have to show us photos of the prototype. I probably will want to see it. You won't have to bring it in, but I would love to see it if you do something. Projects are due on December 7th. It's a Monday morning. So you'll turn your project and your journal into Teams. So that's something that we'll go over with you. And there's going to be, those hidden links in there. So I will make sure that all of that is available to you. I would prefer, if I were me, I would turn it in a few days early because I'm not very techy. And if I were to make a mistake, and I couldn't get it in, I'd be panicking because I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't get this to work. What's happening? So if I do it the night before or the whole day or 2 days before, if I had a problem, at least I could communicate and get a solution. Now I am available for you to communicate with me that entire weekend. I check my email probably like every few hours. So don't panic if you get in that situation. Now, your child might want to do an engineering project. You have to make sure whatever you're inventing does not already exist. And if it does exist, you need to make sure you're working on improving it. So you can use internet sites, businesses, and catalogs to get ideas. So I'll share with you one quick idea, which some of you have probably already heard before, but I had a student years ago who was very frustrated because every time she got out of the car, they got drenched. Because you can't put your umbrella up at the same moment that you open the car door, and so you get wet. So she designed a hinge, like a accordion type hinge that attached to her car and to the door. And so when she opened up her door, it allowed a space for the rain not to pour on her while she was able to put her umbrella out. So that's just an example of somebody doing an engineering project to solve a problem. And I also had a student do one on they wanted to eat their snack on their bunk bed, and their snacks kept falling, and the dad wasn't happy. He says, you can't have any more snacks in the room. And he goes, wait a minute, I got to do a STEM Fair project. I got to solve a problem. This is my problem. So he designed a little tray that he could put on his bunk bed that didn't fall off and everything would stay safe and secure. He wound up having to make 3 different prototypes, but the third one was finally the one that worked the best. So that's another example of someone solving a problem with engineering. So you come up with a need. So that boy needed to be able to have his snack in his bedroom. And then you design it. How big should it be? How strong? How much should it weigh? And then you make a detailed drawing of it. And then you build your prototype. And then you test it. And then you modify it, and then you retest it. And sometimes you have to modify it a 3rd time and retest it. And you record all of your results. There is a template for a journal for engineering. So if anybody is interested in that, let me know and I will get that to you. I did not put that on the website on Blackboard because I didn't want it to be confusing to students. All right, so at this time, I am going to go back. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and see, does anybody have any questions up to this point right now?
Nobody in chat.
No questions? All right, so I'm going to go back to Blackboard and keep showing you what's down on the list. That was the most lengthy thing to show you, so that's good to know. We are right here. Share. All right. Uh-oh, now I have to get back to Blackboard, right? I did the wrong thing, didn't I? Stop sharing. Sorry. There I am. I went to clicked on the wrong thing. All right, now we're back where we belong. So you have to turn in a safety assessment form. I already said that. It's critical. You cannot start without it. The safety assessment form is a PDF, and it literally is right here. and you'll fill it in right here. Okay. And then you will send it to me. And there's 2 pages, so make sure you check out both of those pages.
I know it's in Blackboard, but where in Blackboard is it?
That's an excellent question, Jonathan. So if you go to all Ashton specials, do you know where you're going for specials?
Yeah, I hit science and then what?
Oh,
Fifth
no,
grade?
not science. Go below that. Keep going down on the left-hand side and you'll see STEM.
Oh, STEM fair.
Yeah. I might actually ask.
That makes more sense.
It does, but you know what? I might ask Miss DeWitt if we can move that up and put it right underneath science. That would probably be a better place for it, don't you think? We'll see if we
Maybe.
move STEM fair
I can show you how to move it up.
up to science. So we'll move that so you don't have to look for it. It'll be easier to find. Thank you. Boy, Jonathan, you're solving all these problems for me tonight. Thank you so much. All right, so now I'm going to go back, slide you guys back over here. And this is just in my way up top here. So I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm going to keep going in and out. So this is an example. This is my candy corn STEM fair project. We did this, I don't know if it was last year or the year, I think it was the year before. I did it with the students in the science lab. And this is just an example. So that way you can look at it online and you'll know what goes in each slide. We had our purpose and then we did our research. So I had research, I had 1, 2, 3 pages of research. And now I've numbered them.
It's not showing.
Oh, it's not showing?
No.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah, you have to reshare when you open the Microsoft app.
Oh, you have to reshare.
Okay, so let's see. Are you seeing it now?
No, stop sharing. then-
No, because you got to reshare.
Okay. All right, thank you guys. Thanks for keeping me on track. Reshare, right? So we're back here. Candy corn. Okay, so sit down here. I have to move you guys over. I wish there was a good place to put the Zoom box because it's, all right, it didn't show me. So let me go back. I hope I'm not overloading my computer right here. So if I click on this, it should show it to me. There we go. Now it worked that time. Perfect. Now it's happy. Can you see it?
No.
Candy corn, you still
No.
can't see it? Why can't you see it?
You have to open it, then reshare.
But how do you ask them how you reshare?
How am I supposed to reshare it? So can you walk me through that?
Like, stop sharing and then just share the screen again.
Okay, so, okay.
Stop sharing.
Now just go share.
Oh,
Share screen again, and then see it. Oh, and then click on
Down
the
here?
corn one. No, click there. Yep, got it.
do you see it now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's confusing. That's okay. Sorry. I'd be lost without all of you guys. So there's my purpose. And then I have 3 slides with research on them. And you'll notice that I put the website down there where I found the information from. And for this one, it was a book. So I put the name of the book down there. Then after I did my research, I came up with my hypothesis. You'll see the hypothesis is blank because the students were predicting what they thought would happen. And then we listed our variables. So we had a lot of constant variables. Those are all the things that we kept the same. And then the independent variable, what we did was we changed the temperature of the water to see if the candy corn would dissolve faster in hot water or cold water. And then our dependent variable was the percentage of the candy corn that dissolved over time. And we had a little rubric that we were using for that. And there was no control with this experiment since we didn't know how candy corn would dissolve in water.
Real quick, I'm muted, Mary, but STEM fair is optional for all grades this year.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm just answering. Okay, go ahead.
So the materials, then you list your materials. And then you write out your procedure and see, I used my metrics, 85 degrees Celsius, 100 milliliters, etc. So you have to just make sure. Now time is universal, so that didn't need to be. And that into 2 cups is literally 2 cups into 2 containers, not 2 liquid cups of measurement. And then I recorded the data. Now this was a little bit different because we were recording change over time. And so we did at 0 minutes, 3 minutes, 6 minutes, 9 minutes, and 12 minutes. We recorded. So we did cold once, twice, up, 3 times. That I changed that and it went back to a 1. I don't know. That's supposed to be 3, sorry. And then hot, 1, 2, and 3. So because we did it, those trials, we wound up with our graphs where we showed what happened in each one. We compared them to each other. So there's one hot and one cold, second hot and cold, third hot and cold. And you see how I used a line graph because I was showing change over time. Works a lot better than a bar graph when you're changing something over time. And then I averaged those all together, and that's our results. Speaking of results, results is just your data, all those numbers just written in sentence form. And then after I did that, wrote up a conclusion and highlighted the part that really showed the difference there. And then the last part here is applications. We talked about how this information would be helpful to somebody. So we were saying it might be helpful to somebody who's trying to find creative ways to use leftover candy corn. Because some recipes require the candy corn to change into a liquid state, and we would now know that using heat makes that happen. So that's just one example. Now there is a slide in here for pictures, and you're also welcome to put pictures throughout. That's fine as well. So that is, I'm going to stop sharing. I hope I'm doing the right thing. Or new share. Let's try new share this time and see if that works. Come back here. Share. Do you see Blackboard now? You do? Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Awesome. Let me move you guys back over and move this down here. Back over to Step Fair. So I have shown you the PowerPoint for tonight, the safety assessment form, and a sample. Now this is the template, and right below it are the directions on how to download the template. So the template is set up for you, and literally you're just going to be filling in the blanks. Now
you're gonna have to reshare.
I have to reshare. So stop sharing.
Mhm.
Okay. And then
Reshare, yeah.
down here,
And yeah.
share. And where did it go? Here it is. Do you see STEM Fair Project PowerPoint template?
No.
No.
So stop sharing.
Stop share.
We see in Blackboard.
Okay. Oh, Blackboard. Yeah, that's where I was trying to get.
No, because you wanted the PowerPoint thing. Okay, so share your screen. But
Uh-huh.
now click on the one that you want to see. Don't,
This one.
yeah, click on that.
Okay.
And then
share.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. All right. Now you can see Science Fair Project template.
Yeah.
All right. And thanks so much for being patient with me, guys. So each step in here is, each slide tells you what needs to go on the slide. And there's the link again to the graph, but that's also on Blackboard, which you'll see in a moment. And you need to delete this slide when you're done. This is the one with the directions. So your title goes on this slide. Your problem or purpose goes there. And then research. And you need to have 3. I don't know what happened to my 3. We'll make sure I go and fix that tonight. So don't download it tonight because it's supposed to have 3 pages. I don't know what happened. I must not have saved it when I changed it. Research, 3 pages. Sorry. And then you guys know about PowerPoint, right? You know that you can go up into design and you change it and make it whatever you want, right?
Yes.
Thumbs up on that one. Okay,
Yeah.
good. Yeah. So then you put your hypothesis, make it your question into an if-then statement. And then I have variables and I tell you what will stay the same, what you will change, what you'll measure. And then you list your materials, write out your procedure. Here's a table for you to record your data. And then your graph. So I have the other graphs in here, graph pages, just in case you wanted to do more. But if you're not doing them, you just delete those slides. Is that okay? You guys got it? Then you'll do your results. You write it out in paragraph form. You tell me what you learned. you talk to me about, and you tell me how it would apply to the real world. So, okay. So, and then you can add another slide for photos, but I will, oh, it does say pictures. There it is. So, and then pictures can go in there as well. So that's the template that you download and you work from that. Does anybody have any questions about that? No? Okay. So stop sharing, right?
Yes.
All right, so good so far? Everyone okay so far? Yes? No? Liana, do you have a question?
How do you get there? What do you like?
That's the next thing I was going to show you. You guys are always good at that.
Can I share the one question real quick?
Yes.
There was one question in the chat room asking which grade STEM fair is required for this year. It's optional for every grade level. Okay, so it's optional. Just because of COVID and all the obstacles we're facing, it's not required. So I didn't know if you saw my answer. Same thing with Reach.
Yep.
Same thing with Reach.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. All right. So I'm going to go back to here. So do you see Blackboard again?
Yep.
Okay, perfect.
Yes. Yes.
So now below here, I put the so there's the PowerPoint, the safety assessment form, the sample, your template, and now here's the directions on how to download the PowerPoint. So, and this was done by Ms. DeWitt. Ms. DeWitt did this for us. So she created this short, simple.
On share again.
On share.
Stop share.
Stop share.
And then share again. And then click on what you want them to see on your.
Why is that? This doesn't normally happen to me.
It's only because you're changing.
Oh, okay. So here's Ms. DeWitt made this, and it gives you, you can see what steps to go through to actually get that on your to download it, so that way you can use it, and you're going to put it on 365. Okay, and that's right there as well. And if you ever need help with any of those things, just let me know. And thanks again for being patient with me as I click back and forth between all these things. I was thinking I could just go straight through, but makes sense. Once I open something and I've made it like an attachment, that means I'm going out of Blackboard. That makes sense. So now there's, so I'll just show you here, there are 3 student samples of PowerPoints, exactly like the ones that I have. One is on different types of paper. One is on, I think, colors of your screen for when you're looking at a computer. So those are ones that you can check out. And then I will show you this quickly. Well, not quickly, but semi-quickly. And I don't know, can you see it? STEM Fair logbook.
Nope, you've got to get out.
No.
Stop share.
Stop share and then share.
Share. Oh, you know what the problem is? I know what the problem is. I finally figured out my problem. In the morning, I had a student this morning say to me, Mrs. Ward, why do you have so many things open on your Zoom page? And I'm like, because I need them all for the day. And I wasn't thinking tonight that I had to open them all because I thought they were all right there on Blackboard, so I wouldn't have to open them. So silly me. If I had them all open ahead of time, it would have been a little bit smoother. So sorry about that.
You still probably would have had to stop sharing
And go back and forth. Okay. So this is the journal, and we made it digital, so you can literally type your name here. All right. So it's going to be really easy to use, user friendly. I'm so excited about it. Now this page right here is for you to decide what your timeline is. You pick your own timeline, and I don't think teachers are giving timelines this year because it's optional. So you might want to set dates for yourself. I want to have this done in 2 weeks. I want to have this done by the 3rd week. I want to have this done by a certain date. But December 7th is when it's due. Oh, and down here, you'll see, well, I'll show you on this next slide. So section 1 is purpose. This is the question I want to answer through my investigation. You just click here and you start typing. All right. And then down on the bottom, you would go here into date and comments. Now this is a footer. So you'll click on it, you'll put the date and your comments and say, I'm excited about learning more about marshmallows. I don't know what your top's gonna be, whatever. Okay, and then you will click back on the site and then you can go back to typing. It's just a way to put the date in there. This way the judge can see your timeline that you went through and your thoughts that you had along the way. Then research. Here's source 1. And then you put the date, a little comment, say, oh, this was really interesting, the information I learned today. And then source 2, again, date and comments, source 3, and the summary, there we go. And then you'll come up with your hypothesis. It's your if-then statement. If I do this, then this will happen. And all samples of all of these are in those templates that, I mean, those samples that are on Blackboard for you, like the candy corn one that I showed you. And then you list your materials, you type it in there. You make your procedure. You have to do it in number order. And we gave you 2 pages for that, thinking that your procedure might be long. You never know. If you don't need the second page, just delete it. And then here's using tables to gather data. So I have a trial 1 and test 1, test 2, test 3, and their totals and averages. Now, I gave you 3 columns. Normally, I only recommend that you test 2 things, which would be 2 columns, but sometimes students really want to test something else. And I am fine with that. You really do not want to go beyond 3 things though, because that just makes it kind of crazy. Okay. And now here in this part, you record your observations. You might use this, you might not use this at all. So if you're growing plants, you're probably going to definitely want to use this, and you'll probably want to make a few more, copy and paste and make a few more pages of this one. But if you're doing like the candy corn one, it probably would have only been a 1 page, because we would have said the date and said observations, and it was really interesting watching the candy corn dissolve in the hot water. You could actually see it after we stirred it and whatnot. So it's just so you can get your thoughts down there of what you were thinking. So like I said, I have 3 pages of that. If you don't use them, delete them. If you need more, just make more. Okay. And then you make your graph. And that's using the Create a Graph website that I will show you in a minute. And I just have 1 in here, I believe. Yes, just 1. If you wind up doing 9 times, you test 9 times, then you'll have 3 more graphs, and then you would just add those pages in. And like, you can call me and say, hey, Ms. Moore, I don't understand about that. Can you help me? And I can definitely help with that. So results, then you explain what happened from looking at your graph and your data, and then you're writing it out in written form. So we found that the cold water caused the candy corn to dissolve, blah, 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 blah. And in the hot water, it caused the candy corn to dissolve, blah, blah, blah. So it's literally just stating your information, your numeric information in paragraph form. Then from there, you come up with your conclusion. This is what I learned. Was my hypothesis correct or not? And guess what, guys? You know, it's fine if your hypothesis is not correct, right? That's perfectly fine. Whatever you think it is when you're in the beginning, that's what you stick with, and it's okay if it's not correct. And then you have applications, which is how can this knowledge that I gained help somebody else or be applied in the real world? Like I was talking about the candy corn and people that were going to use it leftover candy corn, and they want to put it in a recipe and melt it. That would be something that might be helpful to them. And I think that's it. So that is that. And then I will quickly, so I'm going to stop sharing, share screen, go back to here. You might not be able, so can you see, do you see Blackboard? Oh, you do see, okay. Then right here is Create a Graph. This is your, I think, your best friend. Do you see Create a Graph?
Yeah.
Awesome, that worked. Okay.
Yes.
So Create a Graph is a great website, and you just click what type of graph you want, and you put your information in. So let's say we want a bar graph. I click bar graph, and then it lets me pick which way I'd like my bars to go and what shape I would like for them to be. And then I plug in all my data. And there have been times that I've plugged in my data and then I look at it and I go, oh, that's backwards. And then I have to go in and I flip them around. So don't stress out if you do it and it looks weird. Just go back in and move your numbers around. And then you can pick what labels, what fonts you want, and then you get to preview it. And there's nothing there because I didn't make a graph. And then you get to print it or download it, but always, always, always email it to yourself, because it never fails that somehow it will get lost somewhere. So always email it to yourself. And it comes as, I think it comes as NCES something when you receive it. And that is Creatigraph.
When do we put it on our PowerPoint?
Okay, so questions. You go ahead and who said that? Just you can unmute yourself. Who said that? Go ahead, Kristen.
After we email it, after we email it to ourselves, do we put it in the PowerPoint?
Yep, that's correct. Yep. So then you'll have it, instead of trying to copy and paste it from there, it's easier if you actually have your own copy of it that you can use to put into your PowerPoint. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I mean, yeah. That's the way I would do it, but if you can think of a different way to do it using less steps, that's fine. So, but I just don't like losing it because I've lost some before, not lost them, but you make it and then it doesn't go where it was supposed to go. And you're like, oh no, I have to do all that work again. So not a lot of work, but it's just easier to have a copy. Anybody have any other questions? What are your thoughts? Was this helpful? Yes, no, yes, it was helpful. Okay, so all that information is going to be on the on Blackboard for you. I showed you what it looked like. It'll all be there. I'm going to be adding, thanks to Jonathan for reminding me, I'm going to be adding the websites there. I'm going to put in the other template that has the 3 research slides in it. And then I'm going to have Ms. DeWitt, we're going to move STEM Fair up right below science, so it's easier to find. Would that be helpful if it was there? Yes? Yes?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Perfect. All right, good. So any questions? Anybody have any questions? No? So what I suggest you do if you're interested in doing a project, check out those websites. I will go ahead and put that on right now before I leave school. And check it out and see if you think of anything you're interested. And you can always shoot me an email and say, Mrs. Ward, I'm thinking about this. Is there some experiment I could do with this? And we can pretty much always figure out an experiment to do with most anything that's safe and not mold. Okay. All right. If you guys don't have any more questions, I think that's it. Ms. Wolak, do you think I missed anything?
Nope, I think you hit everything.
Oh, Kristen, go ahead.
So is that notebook thing kind of like the draft?
Yeah, that could be like a sloppy, that would be fine if it was like a sloppy copy. So your PowerPoint is going to be the finished product that gets looked at when it's judged. And then what they do is they make reference back to your logbook to find information in there. That's why it's kind of important to put the date and those comments and have your info in there. But it's really easy. If you're typing it into your PowerPoint, just copy and paste it into your logbook, or vice versa. If you type it in the logbook, just copy and paste it into your PowerPoint. There's no need to type it in both places. Does that make sense? And that was one thing we didn't. So did anybody do a project last year? You did? Okay, so some of you did. So last year we didn't do the journal because we were trying to do it on the PowerPoint on the side, and that just wasn't very clear. It didn't, I don't think it had enough guidance. And so that's why we made the fillable PDF of that one, of the digital journal. All right. You guys good? What I can do is, but I won't be able to do it now. I probably could have it up by next week, but I could make a sample journal. I'll make a sample journal of my candy corn PowerPoint. So that way you can see what the PowerPoint looked like and what the journal looked like. Is that okay? Would that be helpful?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes? Okay, that's what I'll do. I'll do a digital journal of the candy corn. Perfect. Candy corn PowerPoint. Awesome. Great. Anything else you guys need me to do? Jonathan, can you think of anything else that I missed?
No.
Okay, if you guys think of anything that you need, just let me know because I'm here to help you guys. I'm just so thrilled that you guys are interested in doing a project. And as I said in the letter that went home, we're not going to have as many students participating at Ashton this year. So it's going to be a lot easier to qualify to go to the county fair. And the county fair is only having 9 schools out of like 20 some are participating this year.
And I don't know if you mentioned, Mary or Miss Ward, that no boards this year. It's all digital, even at the county fair. So if you go to the county fair, it's just your digital project going.
Okay, so there's nothing to change. The only thing to do is we'll videotape those students and we'll be asking you the questions, same questions the judges would ask. So why did you pick this project? So what did you learn and what would you do differently? Things like that. Okay. Great. All right. If we're all good, then I think we've covered everything. And you guys have my email address and you see me at school, just shoot me an email and say, Mrs. Ward, I've got a question, and I'd be more than glad to answer it for you, okay?
And you can send me questions as well.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Bye,
Thank
guys.
you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks for coming. Bye.